Hey guys, welcome to the Fade to Black podcast, hosted by OMG Studios Philly. By the time this recording is uploaded, the Fade to Black Festival will be tomorrow. You can get your tickets online at omgstudiosphilly.com or at the door. It is pay what you can. 50% of the profit goes to the artists, and there's free wine. Today we're talking about the 1996 film The Watermelon Woman by Cheryl Dunye.
We'll be late. Haven't you had enough of that white powder?
You know how hard it was to find these films? It's like one of the few race films that she ever starred in.
Welcome, hello, to the Fade to Black podcast, hosted by OMG Studios Philly in preparations for Fade to Black. It's a Black Philly Film Fest. We are just, 3 days away from that event? If you haven't got your tickets already, get them. What are you doing? They're pay what you can. You can pay $5. You walk in there to see a bunch of content, get some fun hangout time. It's great. It's awesome.
And wine.
I didn't know if I was allowed to promote that, so I'm glad you pointed that out. Free wine for people 21 and over, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. Don't bring your little Euphoria friends over to the damn whatever.
We do ID.
We ID. I'm gonna be like, pull that shit out. Pull that crap out.
Yes.
Per request of Suni's grandfather, and it's also a resolution I'm trying to make. I want to curse less. So if you're listening, Pop, I feel you, and I'm sorry.
Shout out to Granddaddy Rico Suave.
Hey, okay. Today, we watched a very special movie. I say this every time, but this one's special. I'm David Dunnington, Black person, artist, filmmaker. I'm with the homies at OMG, Suni B. Rose, Imani, Johnson, Dominique, Barlow. We are all Philadelphians, and that's why this film is special. It is Watermelon Woman by Cheryl Dunye. Yeah, let's talk about it. First of all, it's made in 1996. Very, very, very low budget. It is a hybrid documentary that has fictional scenes and interviews with real people, some of which we kind of know because they taught at our school. I would love to hear a synopsis from somebody about what this film is, what it's about. And you can spoil it. I don't think spoiling it is a problem because I feel like knowing all of what it's about kind of is intriguing about it. So if anybody wants to give a quick summary from their viewing of it, Suni, Imani, Dominique.
So you have Cheryl, who is she's an she is a filmmaker, living in the Philadelphia area. And she got really into watching old films from like the 30s and 40s because she was looking for like Black women in films from this time. And, watching a lot of mammies and whatnot. But comes across the Watermelon Woman in one of the films, and she just thought she was beautiful and gorgeous, and she really felt connected to her. And she goes and asks her mom about it, and her mom's like, oh, yeah, I know homegirl. That's not the Watermelon Woman. Her name is Faye. We used to all go to the club to see her. We all were like smitten. And so as Cheryl goes into this dive and trying to discover who Faye was, she finds out she was in this relationship with the director of that movie, this white woman, during that time, and kind of sucks how her only credit of that movie, like, she doesn't really get credited. She's just the Watermelon Woman when she had this whole life and career after that. But I don't know. I feel like it was a journey for Cheryl and like her own identity. And she learns about Faye in the end and meets like her last partner. And
Faye, this person, had a relationship with a white woman, film director, lesbian, and Cheryl Dunye is a lesbian, and she's having a relationship with this other white woman, and she's feeling connected in that way. And also, I guess it took me a while for me to pick this up, but I mean, Watermelon Woman's not real. Faye is not real.
Yeah, like after we watched it, I thought it was kind of cool to think about the idea of this filmmaker like discovering herself in a film, and then like in the retelling of this story, like in the retelling of the story of her making this discovery, and it's also her like interweaving her own narrative into it. And so it's like she's talking about these queer Black women having to tell their own stories and how important it is. And it feels important to her to also highlight herself, the filmmaker, in the telling of that. And it feels like, I don't know, a story about telling stories, even if they're made up, but still to just like emphasize the importance of like who the storytellers are. And I thought that was kind of cool.
I know it came out in, you said 96.
Mm-hmm.
And it clearly had many of those like tones and aesthetics in it. But one thing I really enjoyed about it was like whenever we did go to the video store, it was kind of like a Black woman version of Clerks.
Yes, yes.
And I really enjoyed that. Just that little feel there. It was just a little bit deeper, but I still got a very Clerks feel with her and Homegirl, like always with the banter back and forth and just talking about like life or whoever's coming in the store, and like you're dealing with just different people looking for different things. And yeah, I really did enjoy that part.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I think something I've always thought about with this too is like, background, I was shown this in film school, specifically my feminism and media class, and it's just one of my favorite films I've watched in school. And I think the first thing is like, well, first of all, we talk about like, perfectionism is kind of like has roots in white supremacy and all this other stuff. And if you just watch this movie as like a commercial movie, you're going to be like, this sucks. As in like the audio's bad, the camera work's fucked up, they break the 180 a bunch of times, it's cheap as fuck, it's just like rankety dankety. But I love that. She's making a gay Black film post the 80s, like just 6 years out of the 80s, in Philadelphia. Yeah, there's a quaintness to it, and like, I feel like it makes me want to make it. It's inspiring in that regard because she does tell something that's really authentic and genuine and has a lot of substance, but it's not by any means like professionally quote unquote made. But I don't really give a fuck because it says a lot more than things that are clean and beautiful. And there's still beautiful shots in this movie. It's just like, and it's cool little time capsule to see Philadelphia, and stuff at that time, and just little stuff like that old guy that's like, South Street sucks now, and it was like 96 or stuff like that. Cheryl Dunye, she still does stuff. She directs a lot of TV. She currently, I think the most recent thing she directed was an episode of Lovecraft Country. So she's still out here, doing her thing. And I think this film is also getting kind of like because queer Black cinema is kind of being more sought after because for good and bad reasons. Bad as in like, they're trying to take advantage of
capitalism.
Yeah, capitalism. This has kind of gotten a second breath. And I kind of hope that she gets... I want to see another film by her. There's other films she's made that are also kind of like very low budget. Like there's a film called Owls, and it's kind of like I Know What You Did Last Summer, but with like middle-aged lesbians and like...
I really liked how it felt, how it was, again, like how the camera work wasn't the cleanest. Like it felt like when we were like on the street, like actually like recording people, like doing these like impromptu interviews, it really felt like there was like she was a student or something, an amateur filmmaker out on the street. Whereas like when we do have those cuts of them like in the shop or her at home, it's a little cleaner. So it like feels now like you are less in the documentary and now you are watching the movie. And so I just liked how it was constantly switching you from like being in this documentary, learning about the watermelon woman, and then being in Cheryl's story, and like, yeah, like, I don't know, I really liked how the documentary is not real, and like this movie spends like the whole movie like convincing you how real it is, because you know stories be, you know, crossing over all the time, they go over. But yeah, I thought it was cool.
Agreed. I feel like I was also really in love with the idea of every time the camera like switched into different people's hands, it felt like you got a different perspective. Because like one of my favorite scenes was when we were we were interviewing this guy, but it was like Tamara was still holding the camera, and it felt like she was like romanticizing Cheryl so much. It was like every shot just kept like lingering on her. Or like you would catch her like looking at her butt and then like looking somewhere else. So when we got to the points where it's just like, oh no, she's just jealous, and now she's like catching this attitude, and I'm like, oh wow, like you could so totally see it just in the way that she was like capturing somebody else on film. And how that shifts as soon as it becomes like Cheryl's now in charge and everything is like a tripod in the back to like make people feel more comfortable. So it feels like part of that indie style of like shooting it just like also lends itself to like telling you more about like how the story is being made, or like relaying this relationship tension just based in how close these shots feel. And I think that's kind of cool that the camera gets to be like an extra person in perspective as well, or inform that extra perspective.
I do enjoy how like at the beginning of the movie, whenever she was like, I don't know, it was like the introduction, but she was like, I'm not a filmmaker. But then like at the end of the movie, she mentions it again and she says, I am a filmmaker. And I thought that was really interesting just because we are following this fake documentary, but we're also following her on this like growth journey, or like, you know, a journey of finding yourself, even though it is through this fake story. But like, I did like that there was storytelling in many different forms. It wasn't just one like main storyline that we were following. It was, you know, you had the fake relationship, then you had Cheryl's relationship, and then you had like the tension between the white girl that they were Annie, is that her name?
Mm-hmm.
The tension between Annie and
I think it's Anna.
Homegirl and Anna. Oh, okay. But the tension between there and just a lot of storytelling, and some of it is intentional, some of it's organic, and you know, I feel like this was a movie that she learned a lot from, and you can tell throughout the process of it.
That's a good
But
way
I
to
do
put
really
it.
enjoy. Yeah, I really enjoyed like at the end, as Sunny said before, that there was during the credits we get this whole like documentary of Faye, and I don't know, the way the documentary was at the end was, I don't know, I just really do enjoy how it was set up and how we finally got there, and then it kind of wraps everything together as far as like, what did I just watch? And it's like, oh, this kind of does relate to what we all just watched, like this whole storyline from Faye.
Absolutely.
And it's like the documentary and the credits too, to like keeps you in the story. Like the movie is over and the credits are rolling, but it's like you were still in this story of Faye's life. I like how it still continued.
Because it's like, that's the thing that you were waiting for. You wanted to hear how this documentary went, but like,
Yeah.
as like it's being spliced through, you're just getting like directed by Cheryl, executive producer Michael Light, and it's like, oh, okay, so like now you're seeing like what it really took to like make this happen, and so it makes you feel like the real story was just about the process, and like the product is more of the afterthought, and so that's why like we're gonna give you like our names like in this moment, because now you're paying attention, but pay attention to who really made it.
Yeah, and
That's how it
David,
felt like to be,
like you said earlier with how it's just not like a professional movie. Like if you're gonna go see a movie, you're gonna watch this and be like, ugh. But like this is a special movie to the right person out there.
Yes.
see this and feel seen in that way. And like, yeah, it's made for that person. It's not made for the masses. And I think that is also really special and very evident when watching it.
Making films is fucking hard, especially at that time when you're using real film and we're not using digital shit like we are. So like, I commend anybody who made anything back in the day. It's a miracle to me, at least.
Yeah.
Just knowing what I have now and how hard even that still is. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have that much more to say about this. I really want people to watch it. Shout out Cheryl Dunye. I want her to follow me on Instagram. I don't know why. But yeah. Watermelon Woman, 1996, Cheryl Dunye. Watch that joint. This was Fade to Black podcast. In preparations for Fade to Black. It's a Black Philly Film Fest 2022 associated with OMG Studios Philly. February 28th, 2022 at 7 p.m. We will be having a film fest. It's going to be great. Be wine. There will be a drag performance, correct? By Avery Goodname.
Avery Goodname.
Good name.
Avery Goodname, excuse me. There will be a drag performance by Avery Goodname, which will be super fun. There's going to be some films. I'm showing a film, and we're also showing an old film from last year. So that'll be fun. Go on omgstudiosphilly.com to cop tickets. They are pay what you can. You can also pay at the dough. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If you like that, and there's going to be some people like that, but we're not going to judge you. It's okay. It's okay.
No, just come through. Right.
Just come through, man. Damn.
Come through.
Come through.
Come through.
You deserve rounds tonight.
Word to
we'll also have an art sale at Fade to Black. We'll be doing some button making. It's gonna be a good time, and plus, like 50%
all
of the
parties
box
welcome.
Office,
I'm sorry.
50% of the box office goes straight to the artist, so you can pay Black people just by attending.
Support Black artists. Yes. Yeah. Pull up.
Close out Black History Month right.
Absolutely. We got the shortest month, but we're gonna end it with a bang. Yeah. How was just quickly, how was your Black History Month, everybody? Just in one word.
It was black.
Okay. Imani?
It was Black with a capital B.
Right. Dominique?
Black with 3 C's.
Word. I'm going to describe... I'm going to describe my Black History Month as Black with 3 capital L's and all lowercase everything else. So Black. Black. Anyway, y'all, that was great. I hope to talk to this audience again soon. Talk about some more Black films. We might even talk about some other shit, just like Power Rangers movie or some shit. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know nothing about it.
Movie.
It's
Y'all
a movie.
Just didn't understand it.
It's a fucking moving picture. I don't know. I don't know nothing about it. Anyway, good night, y'all.
I don't know what to say next. Maybe it all has to do with this film project, which is finally coming together. Hollywood, the Watermelon Woman, Faye Richards, and Diana?